All right, happy Monday, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for another class in our Meal Solution Mondays class series. My name is Charlotte Scheid, and I'm one of the Giant Cuppy dietitians. So for this class series for Meal Solution Mondays this month, we're going to be featuring all about spring sensational meals. So the meal that we're going to be creating today is a creamy chicken with asparagus. I absolutely love asparagus this time of year. I really like spring. And by the way, happy spring to everybody. But I definitely love spring because it's just kind of the start to all of our in-season produce. But asparagus is definitely one of my favorite spring in-season produce items. So we're going to be using that today, and that will be our recipe. And I just wanted to, so I know not everybody is in Pennsylvania, but I really like this Pennsylvania preferred seasonal calendar. So you can see, especially for asparagus, it is in season April, May, and June. So definitely starting right now. But it is available in store year round. So speaking of speaking of spring produce, I just wanted to list some other spring produce items that are in season that are super delicious. Carrots, arugula, which I love arugula for any type of my salads, peas like snap peas, rhubarb, and there's actually many different types of ways to use rhubarb, not just in a pie, and also herbs too. So mint, parsley, chives, just to name a few. So a lot of great stuff going on that is in season. But again, we'll be using the asparagus today in our recipe. So I wanted to, of course, review the nutrition benefits of asparagus. So these are just listing a few of the many different types of nutritional benefits. So for a half cup of cooked asparagus is 20 calories, so definitely low in calories, but definitely really great fiber in it. So about around 2 grams of fiber and a half cup of cooked asparagus. So we know that fiber is really important for weight management, gut health, and just feeling fuller longer. Also a good source of vitamin K. So for a half cup of cooked asparagus gives us about 57% of the recommended daily intake that we need. And vitamin K is really important for bone health and blood clotting. Also a good source of folate, so 34% of the RDI. So this folate is really important for red blood cell formation, and also research has shown that it can also support mood and mental health as well. And also a good source of antioxidants, which a lot of our produce in general is. So just wanted to review a little bit of the benefits of asparagus. And speaking of asparagus, talking about spring produce a little bit, I just wanted to give you some ways to use asparagus. So of course you can add it to a stir fry, to soups and casseroles, to omelets. You can definitely incorporate it into some type of breakfast meal, but definitely with omelets. And you put on top of a salad, add it to pasta salads, especially when picnic season comes into play. Pasta salads are always a good one, or just salads in general. You can make asparagus fries. There's a lot of great recipes. You just coat the asparagus with a little bit of Parmesan, panko breadcrumbs. You can, of course, steam, saute, or roast it. Use it as a side dish with a meal, or sheet pan meal with shrimp or chicken. And I always like a good sheet pan meal because it's super easy. But just trying to give you ways to think about ways to use asparagus. But of course, we're going to be using asparagus in a skillet meal today. So this is our recipe. Again, the creamy chicken with asparagus. It is one of our delicious savory recipes, which you can view online. It's on our Savory Magazine recipe database. It does get 3 guiding stars. For those of you who are not familiar with guiding stars, it's our nutritional navigation program. So the more stars that a recipe on savory or product in store has, the more nutritionally beneficial it is. So more vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, fiber, and those types of things. But this recipe is really great because it gets the most stars, which is 3. So we are going to, so I have my skillet set up here. So just kind of going over the recipe just briefly before we get started, but we're going to be putting in a little bit of olive oil with a boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which I have right behind me. We're going to be seasoning that with a little bit of lemon pepper and salt, and just kind of sauteing it just for about 2 minutes on either side, and then incorporating all of our other ingredients. So I have already rinsed off 1 pound of asparagus. I'm going to be adding a little bit of lemon, adding some flour to make it thick and creamy. So we're also going to be incorporating some low sodium chicken broth, low fat milk, cream cheese to again give it that creaminess. And then at the end, you can do a lot of different options with what you put it over. So you can do cooked egg noodles, but if you want to add a little bit more fiber or more whole grain option, and actually I'll review that in the next slide. And then you can also top it with some chopped parsley or whatever herb that you would like. But for this recipe, I can read 41 grams of protein and then 4 grams of fiber. So definitely really good protein and fiber. Let me go to the next slide then to show you some options for what you can top it or to pair it with. So the recipe says about egg noodles, but if you want to incorporate a little bit more fiber, and that's what I'm going to do today. I have because I absolutely love these packets because they're super easy to pop in the microwave and then you're ready to go. But I'm going to be using the white quinoa. It also comes in brown rice, and then red quinoa as well. But that's one option. You could also pair it with our Nature's Promise bakery multigrain loaf artesian bread. I don't know if anybody has seen that, but I like this bread because it does get 1 guiding star, so you can get that right out of the bakery section. You can also use a pearled farro. So farro is a whole grain, gives a little bit of kind of like an earthy, kind of nutty flavor, but that's a great whole grain if you haven't tried that before. Or of course you can use brown rice, which is always kind of popular. But just giving some ideas, if you can use egg noodles if you want a little more fiber. These are some options that you can choose for the recipe for today. All right, so with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we will get started. And someone asked really quick, can you search recipes by how many guiding stars it's worth? I don't think that you can quite yet. I know you can search by guiding stars with products in store. I will double check that though, but that's a good question. All right, so I'll stop sharing. Okay. All right, if you can see my screen, go ahead and just say yes in the chat. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I have my skillet right here. Actually, it kind of products are blocking it a little bit, but I'm just going to turn up my skillet just to like I don't know, just like a medium heat, just because when I put in my olive oil and chicken, I don't want to burn it from the start. But I have my boneless, skinless chicken thighs right here. So the first thing I'm going to do, and actually let me set this up here, move this back. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt right on top. And let me get a fork. I'm going to flip this. Just flip these. Actually, let me do. So we're going to do salt and then some lemon pepper seasoning. So this is just our brand lemon pepper. So the recipe calls for about 2 teaspoons. I'm just going to kind of just estimate it. So I'm just going to put this on both sides, some salt and lemon pepper. I think lemon pepper is always a good kind of neutral seasoning for many different types of recipes. Always tastes really good on chicken. Okay, so again, I just flip this over. Just do some salt and lemon pepper. My skillet is getting warm, so I'm going to be putting in a little bit of olive oil. So just about a tablespoon. I'm going to use our extra virgin olive oil. I'm just going to take this, just kind of rotate it so it goes all the way around the bottom. And again, I just want to do a low heat on this because I do not want, I'm going to put it on both sides for about 2 to 3 minutes, but I don't want to burn it right away. I mean, I don't want to burn it at all, but not from the start. Okay, so that is getting warm. Go ahead and take my chicken and just place it in. Let me put my fork in the sink. Go ahead and put this on, and I'll wait till it's sizzling just a little bit. Then I'll put my 2-minute timer on, and we'll flip it. All right, so it's still warming up a little bit. I'm going to put this over here. All right, let me just turn this up just a little bit. All right, so definitely here, so I'll wait for that to sizzle a little bit and then I'll put the 2 to 3 minute timer on. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, so again, I already washed my asparagus. This is about a pound of asparagus. Let me take all this. So this is nice and fresh. Okay, so I can hear that sizzling a little bit. I'm gonna put the 2 minute timer on. All right, so I have that going. So when that goes off, I will flip it. All right, so I'm just gonna take off a little bit of the bottom of the asparagus. And then I'm gonna cut it in half. And I'll put it in my bowl over here. Let me just go ahead and put this in the trash. I'm just gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna put this into my bowl right here until we're ready for it. Okay, about a minute on the chicken. I'm just gonna double check real quick that it is not burning. All right, so it's looking good. All right, so let me get a paper towel quick. All right, so about another minute or so. So what we're going to do, so this recipe also, you want to include lemon zest and lemon juice. So this is my zester right here. I'll zest. So they said about like a tablespoon or so for the lemon zest. And I did already wash this. I'm gonna zest it and then we'll get the juice out of it. About a tablespoon of juice. So we're almost close to a tablespoon or a teaspoon of lemon zest. Okay, let me check on my the chicken. I think I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. And we'll flip it for another 2 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna set the timer for another 2 minutes. All right. And so once that's done, I'm gonna transfer it to a plate and then we're gonna add some other ingredients and we'll add back the chicken into the skillet to let it cook even more. All right, so we have about 1 teaspoon of our lemon zest. And then what I'm going to do is cut this in half. Try to get these seeds out a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do about a tablespoon. Normally for a lemon, it's about that amount. Get some of these seeds that are coming out. This is a really nice, good and juicy lemon. All right, let me just take out some of the seeds. We have about another minute for the chicken. All right, so that looks good. So about a teaspoon of lemon zest and about a tablespoon of lemon. Let me see if I can just get some more. Here. Lemon always reminds me of springtime. There's so many different recipes. Just lemon is always like refreshing and always reminds me of spring. Oops, there's some more seeds. All right. So let me get another plate to put this chicken on. And then we'll set it to the side. I'll give it another 20 seconds or so. Okay, so let me go ahead and set this lemon. Because we have our lemon juice, lemon zest, asparagus. And the other thing I also did before class too, I already chopped up some fresh parsley, which will be coming in season in the spring. So there's our timer. We get plate. I'll go ahead and put this on like this. We'll put this back in with our other ingredients then. Okay. Set this here. All right. Let's see, so I have where did I put my flour? So what we're going to do, back in the skillet, we're going to be putting in, let me just make sure I have my ingredients right. So this is 2 tablespoons of flour. So we're gonna mix this back in here with about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We're just gonna kind of mix it up a little bit. So this flour will help it to thicken. You're going to add in a 1/2 cup of our low sodium chicken broth. So I'm just using our Nature's Promise. So let me go ahead and measure this. I'll do 1/2 of a cup. I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of our low fat milk. So just right here, a 1/4 cup. And a 1/4 cup of our reduced fat cream cheese. So I'm just going to mix this up till it melts. I'm also going to put in that 1 teaspoon of lemon zest and then a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'll turn up the heat a little bit with this just to have it melt. So just rotating it around. Love the smell of lemon, like what I mentioned before. I did turn up the heat. So once this is melted, we can add back in the chicken and asparagus. And you want to let it cook for about maybe 5 or 6 minutes or so. I'll probably add on a lid as well. But you just want to obviously cook the chicken until it's done and then until the asparagus is tender. Heat up a little bit. What I'm going to do is make sure I have everything in there. Yes, everything should be in there. So I'm going to add back in chicken and the asparagus as well. Actually, let me turn down the heat so this all doesn't burn. So I'm going to add in asparagus. Maybe this can all fit in here. And I probably will add a lid. What I love about one pot kind of skillet meals is it's not too much cleanup, which is I always appreciate. Let me turn this just a little bit. Let's see if I can get a lid. Well, they're gonna use a lid initially, but I think that will help it a little bit better. Okay, so let me see. Let me check the Q&A. Okay, so it says, do you always need to heat your pan before adding the olive oil, or can you add the olive oil to a cold pan and warm it up that way? I think you can probably do either one. I know personally I've done either one. I don't know if it makes too much of a difference. One thing I've noticed, if you do put the oil in and then you heat it up beforehand, sometimes I think it tends to make things maybe burn a little bit, but I think you can do it either way. And then can you substitute asparagus? I think you can substitute asparagus. You could, I think you could, even if you wanted to put in maybe broccoli, or probably put in carrot, or really like whatever vegetables that you want, you can probably do that. Okay, so while this is cooking, I want to pull up a poll. Asparagus fun question. Okay. So hopefully everybody can see that. So our first asparagus question while it's cooking. So asparagus comes in different colors like white, green, and violet, or violet green. So true or false? Let me actually put my timer on quick. Give everybody a couple of seconds to answer that. All right. So I'll end the poll and let's see what everybody says. All right. So it looks like the majority of you said true, and you are correct. So asparagus comes in different colors, not just green, but definitely there's white varieties and then violet. In fact, I think the asparagus that we're using had a little bit of purple in it as well, which is pretty. Okay, and I'm going to do one more question while this is cooking. All right, second one. All right, so the second question is, asparagus grows very fast. In peak season, it can grow up to 5 inches in a single day. True or false? All right, so let's see what everybody had to say. So let me go ahead and end the poll. And we'll share the results. So it looks like a lot of you said true, and then 66 said false. So let me stop sharing this. So that's actually false. So that asparagus can actually grow up to 7 inches in a single day. So definitely a very fast, very fast growing produce item. So I thought that was a fun fact for today. So thanks everybody for answering that question. All right, so we have about 3 minutes, 3 minutes on the chicken. Let me actually put my plate in the sink. So I think for the thighs too, you could probably even cut them in half to make it even cook even faster. Let me actually see if I have. I can cut this up a little bit. Just checking the chicken to see how it is doing. All right, so it's definitely getting there. Bring this over. Right. Okay, so we have about 2 minutes or so on the chicken. But even if it's not done by 2 minutes, I'll just keep cooking it and I can send out a final picture of it. But let me just check the see. So someone asked, wondering if there are any tricks to softening the hard part of the stem, so probably the asparagus stem. That's a good question. I haven't, I'm trying to think. You can soften it a little bit. Don't know if soaking it in water or some type of salt water will make it a little bit softer. I'll have to look that one up, but that's a good question. So someone read that asparagus can grow up to 10 inches in a single day. That asparagus can grow up to 10 inches in a single day. I mean, I think maybe some asparagus may be able to grow that much, but it's just, I guess it is dependent. What I read is about 7 inches, but it could probably go either way. Okay, let me go ahead and check chicken. Let's see. We're looking good. But I think here the asparagus still needs a little time to cook. Let me actually bring this over. I'm gonna bring this over to the screen a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna keep cooking it a little bit more, but let me just bring this over. So you can see here, it's definitely a creamy consistency. But the asparagus, I think definitely needs a little bit more time to cook, as well as the chicken. I'm probably gonna even cook it, maybe even like another 5 or 10 minutes. So, but what I'll do is I will send out the final picture after class. But again, what I'm going to be putting it over is our white quinoa. But again, you can do brown rice, bread, or pair it with bread, whatever that you would like. But the original recipe does say egg noodles. But you can do many different things. But I hope this gives everybody an idea or a recipe for this spring season. Hard to believe it is spring, but asparagus is a wonderful addition to many different types of recipes and meals. But it's not only asparagus, that's a wonderful produce items. You have carrots, arugula, snap peas, many different types of herbs. So definitely try them out. But I appreciate everybody joining me here today for our meal solution Monday class, and hope to see you again at a future class. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye.